about all the other champions in that division? You got Scott Quigg, Carl Frampton, Guillermo Rigondeaux.
I'm gonna get the opportunity, boy. You working your ass off, don't you?
Hey, that's what we do. That's what we do.
Danny's Boxing Nation. I see it, baby. Y'all the man.
That's what it is.
I love what you're doing for boxing.
Thank you,
man.
Don't
stop. Keep on going strong. Keep on going hard. A lot of big fights coming this year. A lot of big fights.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So it was just reported that Bob Arum is setting up a meeting to talk with Amir Khan's people so he could possibly make a fight with Manny Pacquiao and Amir Khan sometime in 2016. Now I forgot exactly where I read it, but I'm going to go back and find it, and when I do, I'll put the link in the description box so you guys could see the source. But anyway, this is pretty interesting news. I've been telling you guys for the longest, I wouldn't mind watching a Pacquiao versus Khan fight, even though we know that Khan has a reputation of having a terrible chin. I still would love to see that fight because of the styles. You know, outside of Amir Khan's chin, he has the height, he has tremendous foot movement and speed, and you know, he worked with Manny Pacquiao. They were pretty much on the same team for a long time under the tutelage of Freddie Roach, right? Now, speaking of Freddie Roach, it's pretty interesting because while Bob Arum wants to make Pacquiao versus Khan, the fight that Freddie Roach really wants is Pacquiao versus Danny Garcia. Now, and I like that fight even more. Not only do I like that fight even more, but I think if Manny Pacquiao were to beat a Danny Garcia, he would get far more credit than he would get beaten in Amir Khan, because once again, we know the reputation that Amir Khan has with his whiskers. If Manny Pacquiao were to beat a Danny Garcia, he would be beating a much younger, undefeated young lion. Despite the fact that Danny Garcia has been heavily criticized in his last couple of fights, a lot of people believe he lost to Lamont Peterson and he lost to Mauricio Herrera. But regardless, he still has an O on his record. And once again, I believe that would be a great fight for Manny Pacquiao, especially if he wins the fight. But there's no guarantee he would even beat a Danny Garcia. I believe not only is the Danny Garcia fight much bigger and more attractive, but it's also a lot more dangerous of a fight for Manny Pacquiao. I believe Danny Garcia's boxing skills are very underrated. I believe he can box a lot better than people give him credit for. He has a great jab. He has reflexes. He doesn't have the greatest defense, but neither does Manny Pacquiao. I think overall, Danny Garcia is a better boxer than Manny Pacquiao. Okay? Now, if he can avoid the left hand, that remains to be seen. Actually, now that I even raised the question, now that I think about it, Danny Garcia did an excellent job avoiding Zab Judah's left hand for at least the vast majority of the fight, until Zab Judah landed that left hand close to the end of the fight, and he did stagger Danny Garcia. I believe it was around the championship rounds. But Garcia did an excellent job taking away Zab Judah's left hand. Matter of fact, I hadn't seen any other fighter do it as well as he did. So if he could basically nullify Manny Pacquiao's left hand like he did Zab Judah's, that is going to be a very difficult fight for Manny Pacquiao. But, you know, we're doing all this talking right now, and we don't even know if these fights can be made, because what makes this whole talk even more intriguing is the fact that both of these opponents that Bob Arum and Freddie Roach want for Manny Pacquiao, they're both Al Haymon fighters. So the question is, how can these fights, be made? And can they be made? That's the biggest question. Obviously, Bob Arum feels they can be made if he's, setting up meetings with Amir Khan. Now, we know that Al Haymon is not a promoter. He's actually an advisor. I don't know if that helps the situation. But then again, we know that Bob Arum is suing Al Haymon. We know that doesn't help the situation. So it'll be interesting to see if, for the betterment of the sport, Al Haymon and Bob Arum can work together, or if these fights can be made regardless of the bad blood. So that's pretty much all I got. I'll keep following this story. I'm on to the next one.